Welcome back, everyone, to Genshin Interact. Today, we're going to be talking about some of the future things that are going to be happening in the next, hopefully, the next few patches as well. Some stuff that's happening in 4.6, what we kind of see for some future banners, as well as some stuff for the Spiral Abyss that actually might be changing in 4.7. Now, once again, we don't have necessarily all of the ability to show everything, but we do want to talk about a lot of the things that could be coming up, and a lot of it is speculation. But the first thing we do want to talk about in this video is once again looking at the 4 stars that could possibly be coming out with Arlecchino and Linny. If you did pay attention to the live stream that was here on Friday, you probably saw the Arlecchino and Linny on the first half of 4.6, and then Wander and Baiju were the 5 stars on the second half. Now, we don't necessarily know what the 4 stars could be on the second half, but it seems like the 4 stars that we could see for the first half are Lynette, Freminet, and Bennett. Now, Lynette and Freminet kind of make sense considering they are part of the House of the Hearth, and since Arlecchino is the father of the House of the Hearth, then you've got Linny, who's on the second, obviously the other side. Then it's kind of funny because you've got all 3 of the children, and then you've got father as well. And I think they just slapped in Bennett because Bennett is obviously a great pyro character for both of the 5 stars as well. So I don't know. What are your thoughts, Rift?
I mean, yeah, I think it's kind of funny how we got father, you got the children, just like you said. I love it. I love how they, it's not just a good banner, but it's also a canonical banner with all the characters. And then there's Bennett, right? Poor Bennett with his unlucky whatever, but now he's slapped on here. So I think, it's going to be a great 4-star lineup for these characters. If you don't already have a Bennett, definitely going to want to grab at least one copy of him because he's, as we all know, he's just broken.
Yeah, I do like that. Obviously, Bennett is here. Obviously, you can have one of the 4 stars, obviously, with Bennett, and then you can run with the 5 star if you get them as well. Bennett's going to be good for both of these teams. Arlecchino is going to focus on that, but she wants a frick ton of attack, and so grabbing on top, Bennett there on top as well is going to be able to help you a lot more. Thankfully, because Arlecchino doesn't heal herself, or she's the only one that can heal herself, I should say, Bennett won't mess with her bond of life as well, but will only be giving that attack boost as well. And then extra constellations isn't that bad either, especially getting up to C5.
Right. And, people do talk about C6ing, which is really just up to you. There's pros and cons, and I'm sure you can find videos, specifically tailored to that. We talked about that before as well. One thing I did want to just say about 4 stars on banners is, we never really know 100% for sure until the game itself actually tells us in the event and notices tab where they actually show the upcoming banners, right? All of it, the time before that is all just speculation and our closest thoughts. And usually they are correct, especially right before the banner. So I am pretty, I'm like 99% sure these are the 4 stars on the banner for sure, right? It's just that we can't be entirely sure until the game tells us. And, the same things can be said for, we're going to talk about 4.7, 4.8. And so we can give you some thoughts on that as well. But my point is we never know the 4 stars until the game itself tells us. So the next thing we did want to talk about, though, moving right along, Vixen already stated that in 4.6, obviously we have Arlecchino and Linny if you watch the live stream, and also Wander and Baiju. But looking at 4.7, this is where we will see Cloran, as well as getting a rerun possibly with Alhaitham. And on the second half, people are speculating that it's going to be Farina and Nilu, as well as the new 4-star Sethos that was actually debuted in the live stream as well. If we were watching the part with Sino's story quest, we did get to see Sethos, and there was one point in the live stream where I zoomed in to get a good look at Sethos, and his vision is undoubtedly Electro. He's going to be a new 4-star Electro character. I've seen some people like Jello already talk on this character, and some of their thoughts I really liked. He was saying, and I kind of tend to agree with this, that it could be either a 4-star Electro DPS, or it could just be another healer or something of that sort. So I'm very excited to see Sethos. As you guys know, I'm more excited about Sethos than anything else. But I think it's going to be great. And then in 4.8, we're seeing Sijuen alongside a rerun of Navia. That'll be Navia's first rerun, and she's a really great Geo character. I, for one, was very impressed with how powerful she was on her release. I just had lower expectations, and that's my own fault because I labeled Geo as, a little less powerful, because there's some truth to that, but Navia just hits like a truck, and so she's a great character. I'm very excited for her rerun. But then on the second half of 4.8, it looks like we'll be having Shenhe alongside Risley, and that's also Risley's first rerun, which that'll be great for a lot of characters or a lot of players who didn't pick him up and want a copy of him.
I know a lot of people were talking about, well, in other point 0.8 sections, we haven't gotten new characters. And I don't even know if point 0.7s in the past have had new characters either. At least I don't believe so in Sumeru. I'm not sure if the other regions really had held the same merit, at least in Azuma. But with the talk of point 0.7 and point 0.8 having so many new characters, there was a little bit of a buzz being like, they're not going to do that. They haven't done it before, and they're not going to do it now. Genshin is very similar in what it does in the future of whatnot. And so, in general, with the future of what they're going to be doing, a lot of people were wondering, is this actually the case for 4.7 and 4.8? But if we look at it, they are having the chronicled wishes that are coming out for, obviously, we've already had Mondstadt's idea of the chronicled wish. And in terms of leeway characters, you're now allowing less and less of that rerun pool to be happening, which is allowing the slots in the future for more reruns of newer characters. And then also, in general, more new 5 stars that can come out, because a lot of those spots aren't taken up by very old or 3+ characters that have run, slots as well. So that's at least my reasoning for why there is more, more ability for there to be so many new 5 stars that are coming out, especially in these later patches. Looking at the last thing that we have, it is the 4.7 Abyss. We do want to talk about that, and a lot of people are thinking that it's going to be kind of different and a little bit new. Now, there isn't too much information here except just this is probably the most speculated, thing that we have brought this week, because there people are talking about the new type of Abyss is, it is real and there is going to be a change. And they're talking about one room per floor with some sort of new interesting spin, whether that's going to be, the similar types of buffs and, each floor in each room in each floor is going to have a different buff. So it can kind of mess with character teams and whatnot, because people are saying that some are going to like it, some are going to hate it, and that might just be because the idea of a change in the endgame content we currently have. I'm not even sure if this is necessarily a change to the Abyss or if it is a new version of the Abyss that is kind of like, you can do like 2 different types of Abyss. The normal Abyss is going to stay or whatnot. I don't know. Rift, what are you thinking is going to be happening here? There's a lot of speculation going around with it.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about the idea of new endgame content in Genshin. This new Abyss would be something very cool for, I know a lot of people have been asking for something like this, right? One thing I'm kind of, concerned about is the fact that some people are saying it might be competitive. My thoughts initially are I'm kind of nervous about that because, the whole issue would be brought up that, okay, well, the pay to win people will just obviously win every time, right? The C6 characters, if it's something like player versus player, like you're just a full on duel.
I don't know. I think the idea of competitive isn't necessarily like almost PvP or, keeping close remarks with other players. I think the idea more is like almost a competition between friends. Like you can kind of put your times up with your friends, and it kind of, if you finish it fast enough in a certain amount of time, or if this is wave based where, if you get through a certain amount of waves and then, it's based on time, I don't know what it is going to be based on. Yeah, I do like the idea of what is going to be coming up with the Abyss. Hopefully we'll get some good stuff from it. And hopefully, if there is 2 types and it is still keeping the old Abyss and this new type of Abyss, maybe it'll allow for more, Primo Gems as well. I will always take the ability to get more Primo Gems in general, even if it is a little bit more difficult to get through. But I think in general, we'll just kind of see what happens with the rest of the Abyss, and especially with 4.7 with new characters, new to possible Abyss, changes into Natlan, a lot of the story changing and turning into the new region. So I'm excited. I think we're both really excited. Well, that's everything we have for this week for the Interact post. If you did like the video, go ahead and like and subscribe. And also, we do have a Discord as well if you want to go ahead and join. And that's everything, once again, we have for this week. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.